aren't you promoting illegal immigration when you do that?
Absolutely not. There's no proof that giving a bottle of water to somebody or being compassionate to them makes them want to further their entry or even want to attempt coming into the United States.
Welcome to another episode of Notas. I'm your host, Elvia Diaz. Recently, I went to southern Arizona and into Mexico with Pastor Randy Mayer, co-founder of the Samaritans, a faith-based group that leaves water, food, and medical aid in the desert to prevent migrant deaths. Mayer is a lead pastor of the Good Shepherd United Church of Christ in Sahuarita, and for years he's been at the center of one of America's most emotional and heated border debates. Today, I'll let Randy tell the story, why he does what he does, what he has seen, and how faith and politics collide in the desert on a supply run from Phoenix to Sassave, Mexico. Stay with us.
We're on our way.
Where are we
We're
going?
headed to Arivaca and then to Sassave, the border town of Sassave, Mexico and Arizona. It will be about an hour and 20-minute drive or so.
And how many times have you done this trip, Randy?
Oh, our group has done it, hundreds of times. But I don't usually go on Saturdays. They usually go on Saturdays, so I'm not always out there. But I've been in Sassave many times. Yeah.
What are we doing there?
So we have kind of created a little community center and a library there. It's a community that really has been kind of shaken up by the cartels. They keep on, the factions of the cartel have kind of fought with each other, and so it's been a little bit, the community, a couple of years ago, there was so much violence, most of the families had to get out of the town, and many of them haven't returned, but some of them have, and so, but there's really no resources there. There's a couple of convenience stores, the gas station. You either have to go across into Arizona or into, you have to travel about 70 miles south.
So, Randy, you could be doing anything else right now. It's a beautiful Saturday. Why do this?
A lot of it is, I really enjoy getting people, helping people understand the issues, but also see the incredible desert. It's also, it's the kind of thing that when you have these encounters with people in the desert and, their lives, there's something really powerful that happens there, they really need assistance and they need support, and they've been treated so bad so much of the way, and many of them are, we've found people that are medically really compromised or even near death. When you encounter something like that, it changes you, and it kind of deepens your human experience. And what we say is, you may have, we have literally saved thousands of lives in the desert, but our lives are some of the lives that have been saved in the process. You'll never be the same because of these experiences. It's kind of like you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Once you've kind of been exposed to the human suffering and that you might be able to alleviate just a little bit of it, you become very committed to that.
What's the worst that you have seen? I know in the documentary they show that you have found bodies, you have found all kinds of...
I think some of the worst ones are encountering people that have been completely violated by other human beings. physically, mentally, emotionally. They're just completely numb to life because of the experience that they've had to go through. So those are the ones that really kind of sit with you, that how they survive. But my God, human beings can be brutal. So this is a checkpoint. We don't have to really do anything this way.
They probably don't want you recording.
Oh, they don't care.
Oh, they don't
I mean,
care?
it's there are employees.
That's what I tell people.
You can film everything you want.
Yeah.
I had a photographer with me yesterday, and hey, there's Martinez. Hey, Martinez, how you doing? We're headed out there. Hey, take care.
They already know you.
Well, that guy's a decent agent.
Is the checkpoint permanent?
That's kind of a temporary one, but it's been there for 15 years.
What's the purpose of a checkpoint?
Well, that checkpoint is so that they can, they're gonna. So what happens is that people, that are crossing, they have to. There's a checkpoint then on 286. There's this one, and then there's one on I-19. And so, the only way for a migrant to get through here is for them to come through the desert. If they're in a vehicle, they're going to get stopped there. Or drugs, contraband has to either go through this desert that way, or it has to go through the checkpoint. Sometimes they have dogs there. You'll see there this morning, there was a guy in a blue shirt, the custom agent. You know why that is? Because our government is shipping Border Patrol agents to Minneapolis and all over the country to be the thugs that are, doing apprehensions and raids. And so
they're fighting crime. The president will say they're fighting crime in tough neighborhoods across the country. You don't buy that?
No. I mean, the percentage of people with real serious criminal offenses is like 2% of the apprehensions they've made so far. It's extremely low. The majority of the people they're finding have no records. They're, the construction workers. They're the working in hotels. They're the backbone of the country, really. And that's the thank you they get.
So we are about 12 miles from the border. So I was noticing that there's absolutely nothing around here.
There's absolutely nothing. This is really desolate. And it's a lot different than most deserts, or what people think about the desert, because it's, there's a lot of mesquite and brush and mountains, and it's a very, there's lots of grass and canyons, and it's a very rugged desert. There's lots of cactus. Everything in the desert out here will either prick you, bite you, or sting you. So it's a pretty dangerous, unforgiving land. In the summer, it might get up to 115, 120. There's very little standing water out here. And then in the winter, this morning it was probably around 30, 35 degrees.
Is that why you spend a lot of time with the Samaritans as well?
Yeah.
Leaving water around the
Making
desert?
sure that there's water, and we have people that are walking the trails and keeping a track of where the usage is. And so, there's 4 humanitarian groups in this area, and we all work together, so we know where each other's water stations are and where the drops are, so that that really there's a lot of water out here on the trails. We do have vandalism. There are people that will see our water and destroy it. I know, like we have one whole box, a wooden box full of water, and it was taken on the trip yesterday. It was just somebody had taken it.
I know there has been a lot of issues with the Border Patrol, the federal government saying you shouldn't be doing that because that's what they call aiding and abetting undocumented immigrants. Have you ever personally had any issues with the authority because of the work you do?
I've never had any issues. I mean, we've been stopped. They've asked for our IDs. They may not exactly like what we're doing, but what we do is legal. And so they can't stop us. Humanitarian aid is never a crime. There's been lots of lawsuits where they've tried to say it's a crime to give water, or it's a crime to let somebody rest at your house. No, it's not. You can. That's what we want human beings to do. Once we stop taking care of each other as human beings, we become not human, really. Or, once our first instinct is fear, we really become, what I would say as a person of faith is, in Scripture, that's one of the dominant messages from Jesus and throughout Scriptures is, do not fear. I am with you. And yet our government seems to want us to believe that you have to be fearful of everything. That the border is, I have never had any bad encounters here along the border.
But you have seen a lot. I mean, you have seen a lot of suffering, a lot of suffering, death, obviously, too.
I've seen everything from militia, from border patrol, military, cartel, all holding AK-47s and heavily armed. I only carry a bottle of water and a bag of food. We don't have, and I have never once felt like I was in danger.
With fewer people or close to none crossing the border, we would think you would be out of this job specifically of being a Samaritan.
You mean as far as
the need and as far as taking food and taking this kind of supplies to people across the border?
Yeah, I mean, that job is never going to be done. There always will be people of need on that side of the border and this side of the border. At the church, a lot of times people would say, hey, you're only helping illegals. Why don't you do something for the community? So we built a food bank that feeds 2,500 people a week. And that's right on our church property. And now they say, what are you guys? Are you a church or a food bank? Hey, we feed anybody and everybody. We have no boundaries, no borders as far as our compassion.
Is that your America first?
What?
Is that your America first, feeding people at the church and then taking food across the border?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that, but wait, yeah. I mean, we, like right now, as we're out here, there's a line of people at the food bank at the church getting food. That's what we do. That's what people of faith do. The interesting thing is, Jesus didn't sit around and wait till they came to him. Jesus, at least what I read in Scripture, is that Jesus was always going out to bring compassion and care to the people on the margins, outside of the community, outside of the realm of the temple. He was there. So if you follow Jesus, and I know there's a lot of people that like to flash their Christian credentials out there, Jesus went to the margins. If you want to follow Jesus, you have to go to the margins. You can't just sit in your safe little home and say, I'm a Christian. Jesus went out and did it.
Now, doing this crossing, and you do this so many times, talk about the danger of being in Mexico, because that is something that I hear all the time.
Yeah.
Especially for Americans, gringos like you.
I mean, I have crossed. I'm not exactly sure, but I've been crossing the border for 28 years, sometimes once or twice a week. I probably have close to over 1,000 crossings. And I've never really been in a place where I felt that I'm in danger. What I understand and what I read is, usually the people that are in danger are people that are somehow mixed up in the drug trade. They're not the average people. The cartel has no reason to come after me. This community will embrace everybody. They want people to come over, and the issue is, safe communities are communities where you know your neighbors and you've built relationships and you take care of each other. Unsafe communities, to me, are the communities that have gated communities and have walls and barriers, and people don't know who their neighbors are and don't have a deeper relationship with people. That's when you have danger. I think, in reality, what the United States has done is that we've built walls, or like the Los Tigres del Norte, the jaula de oro. It's the gold cage. We built a gold cage, and we're in it. I don't want to be living in a cage. I want to be in relationship with people and build a stronger community. I give humanitarian to everybody. We've helped Border Patrol out there. We've helped everybody, recreationists, hunters. We don't have any boundaries on us, on our humanitarian aid.
So we're entering Mexico right now.
We're still in the U.S., but we're getting ready to go through U.S.
Customs.
The customs. They won't do much, but we want to check with them just to make sure that we're all. You have your ID.
So we're in Mexico now, technically.
We're in Mexico,
right?
Running through a Mexican customs right here.
Do you ever have any issues with either the U.S. or Mexican customs because you're bringing so much stuff?
I have problems. Definitely coming into, not here, but down in Nogales. It's a lot harder to cross for us. Crossing produce, they've really made it very difficult. I can get, other things, canned goods. I can get meat across into Mexico, no problem.
Have they ever asked you for, in Spanish we call it a mordida? Maybe
sometimes. I've had
$20 for coffee or whatever they usually
say. I've had a military. These guys are military that are gonna run in this customs, and they've asked, hey, you can cross for $20.
Do you pay it?
Yeah, and they're looking through the door back there, and they say, just hand it low.
Just good.
Sabe México, estamos en México.
Estamos en medio de la nada.
I think all that stuff, and then we got all this stuff back here too.
Okay.
Hey.
¿Algo más?
Un montón de cosas.
And now you will hear from Pastor Susan Valiquette of First Church in Phoenix, who organized the food and supplies for this trip.
I haven't formally joined the group. They are active in Samaritan and in Tucson. But together with my colleague Randy, who's also a UCC pastor, I've just learned of their efforts. For me, really, it's a humanitarian effort. It's about equalizing the playing field. It's about really seeing somebody else for who they are and understanding of the situation that they're in, and to bring a different story of what the United States is like, because with our borders not very accessible right now to people who would like an opportunity to be able to fully provide for their families and to live in a successful way, and that they're not able to do in their own country. So if they can't come through as immigrants, then right now we could come to them and be a different face of the United States, one of compassion, and really seeing them. I spent a lot of time in South Africa, and the one word that is for greeting in South Africa is sawubona. And when you translate that in Zulu to English, it means I see you. And so by being here, hopefully they have a new understanding that indeed we see them. We see what's happening in the United States. We see what's happening in their country and living at the border. And we just simply not so much want to give things, but really want to build relationship with communities on both sides of the wall.
This is a lot of work that you are doing, organizing, getting all the stuff here. What message do you want to send people in the United States that perhaps don't have the opportunity to come and see it with their own eyes?
Well, one of the ways too is to be sure that whatever news that you are hearing in the United States is that you're also gleaning from different organizations, not just what's in the mainstream news, but you're also looking to nonprofits and hearing their story and signing up for their newsletters so that you can be better informed of what's the actual story that's happening in places with immigrants and with our borders. Because the way that we get our news is just so filtered. And so if you look to nonprofits like the Samaritans, sign up or give them support. I mean, we can still support these places. You don't have to come to the border to give support. You don't have to donate directly donations. You can continue to finance them. I mean, one of the biggest costs for a place like the Samaritans are their vehicles. So having good vehicles where they can drive rough terrain and be present on the other side of the border and paying for the gas. So a donation can pay for a tank of gas for them too, to help these organizations to continue. And when our policies change, they'll be ready and equipped to go and to respond to any policies that change in the United States.
There's a lot of movement behind you. Describe to me what's happening.
So this particular place was originally built as a library, and now it's become a place of resources. So people are coming in from the community. They each have a bag to shop with, and they're going down the line picking up food. And we also have blankets, and each one shares. So they get one each. And if there's still more and they need more, they can go a second round through the line, I understand.
What do you think when you see this wall? I mean, you have seen it 1,000 times, I bet, but...
You know, like I said, I think it looks like a snake just slithering across the horizon. It's a wound. It's an open wound. It not only destroys the environment, but it destroys community and relationships. It's really pretty evil. Doesn't really protect anybody. You know, we've already seen the cuts in the wall. You know, for a couple $100 you can cut the wall.
The government doesn't see it that way, though, that it does protect
The government,
us.
Well, I would say, you know, a lot of the Border Patrol will say this doesn't really stop anybody. It slows them down. But when you're out this far, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, it's a speed bump of 5 minutes. People, you know, I've seen people climb this thing like a monkey. They can
just do it.
They can even.
I mean,
I've seen it.
Tall. Look, I mean,
I've
there's
seen
no way,
ladders
like,
on this. I've seen rope ladders. There's all kinds of ways for people to cross. So, doesn't really stop anybody. It just slows them down. But for animals, the ecology, the environment, this is a scar But I can guarantee you, Mother Nature will win. Then in the last year, they came through and put cement in, you can see that way out there, up that hill. They don't put cement on it, it becomes just a rock pile and you can't get up it. Especially the Border Patrol.
Right.
They pretty much drive F-150s and they don't have any weight in the back. And they beat them up really fast.
But look at the landscape. I mean, we're in the middle of
Yeah.
nowhere, but we are also close to a border crossing. There's
Yeah.
absolutely no one here. No
There's nobody.
No crossers, no
no.
border patrol, no authorities.
I mean, I would
so
say
it's
the
nothing.
border patrol probably is not going to be. I was out along the wall yesterday in the morning for 2 hours. We drove 20 miles and we didn't see a border patrol the whole time.
That's not the
I mean, we
image,
saw military. But
That's
we
not
didn't,
the image that we get in the news.
Well, because if you really talk to the border patrol, they play this like like a football game. The end zone. This is the football field is much bigger. This is one end zone, and you need to defend way back. And so they're going to try and stop people way back.
We just crossed a ghost town, and then I see absolutely nothing here.
Yeah, but in this ghost town, there used to be a stop by Grupo Beta, which is the Mexican immigration, and they used to have a stop, and there was a line of vans. I've been there when there were probably 20 vans with 20 people in each van waiting, and the Grupo Beta would hand a few people, the know your rights cards and say, be careful, and then they'd drive up to the wall. And so
Very different
it
now,
was,
yeah.
I mean, there were times where there were probably 1,000, 1,500 people that were crossing in this area a day.
Good day. Well, let's
Yeah.
end the episode here. Randy, thank you so much for allowing me to come and to join you. So tell me some final thoughts about the wall. We're sitting here, and then the work that you do, the Samaritans. How would you summarize your work right here facing this wall?
Well, I mean, what we do is we're out in the desert and along the border in Mexico and the U.S. because we don't want people to die. There's no reason that people need to die crossing the border. And so we, as humanitarians and concerned human beings, have every right to be out here to give people aid, food, water, humanitarian aid. And so we're trying, we think our government's pushing people into the most dangerous parts of the desert where they know they can track them or they will die is immoral. And as people of faith and conscience, we're here to stop the deaths. And so this wall, it's a symbol of death. It's a symbol of people that live with the mindset of scarcity. And I believe in a world of abundance and a world of, if we could just share, everybody could prosper. But when we hoard and want to build walls and live in gated communities, and in Sahuarita, they've been on a rampage of building all of these storage units, massive storage units, so people can hoard all their stuff in these storage units. Why don't you just share? That's part of our issue. We don't know how to live in community and share.
Well, that's a beautiful way of ending the episode. However, I can't let you go without asking the question that I'm pretty sure is on a lot of people's minds, and they have asked me that many times. Aren't you promoting illegal immigration when you do that?
Absolutely not. There's no proof that giving a bottle of water to somebody or being compassionate to them makes them want to further their entry into or even want to attempt coming into the United States. There's no proof of that. something that people push. There's no, and legally, I have every right to give somebody a bottle of water and give them food. And as a person of faith, to not do that is completely against my beliefs and what God and Jesus have taught me. So I believe it's a religious right to be able to give food and water in the name of Jesus.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for all the work that you do. And hopefully you watching, you listening will have the same kind of a spirit. Thank you, Randy.
All right. Merry Christmas.